Welcome to the Deconstructionist Deep Dive, the podcast that doesn't just accept the story.
We break it
We examine the pieces.
and expose the machinery inside.
Let's dive in.
What if the idea of karmic debt isn't just a spiritual concept, but a meticulously designed cage for the soul?
Welcome. Today, we're doing a deep dive that's maybe like an immunity boost for your thinking.
Right. We're taking aim at some really common ideas out there, things you hear all the time presented as, deep spiritual wisdom or maybe self-help breakthroughs.
But what if they're not? What if, actually, under the surface, they're building these invisible walls, a kind of control system?
That's the mission today. We've got this stack of concepts, beliefs that are, frankly, everywhere.
Yeah, really pervasive.
And we're going to take them apart piece by piece. You use a bit of a logical scalpel, you could say. The goal is to pull out the truths, maybe the uncomfortable ones, hiding inside. Think of it as a shortcut, maybe, to seeing the hidden mechanics, so you can evaluate them clearly.
That's exactly it, because they often come wrapped in promises of freedom, right? Or healing, enlightenment even.
Sure, that's the appeal.
But the big question, the core of what we're doing is, do they actually liberate? Or do they just build a different kind of prison? A nicer looking one, maybe, but still a prison for the mind. We're pulling back that curtain.
Okay, so what specific ideas are we putting under the microscope today?
Well, we've picked a few that are really embedded. First up, there's the idea that physical illness, like really serious illness, is mainly caused by emotions you haven't dealt with. Suppressed negative stuff. We're calling it psychosomatic causality.
Got it. What else?
Then there's karma, but not just general cause and effect. We're talking the model of karma as a literal debt, something you rack up and have to pay off lifetime after lifetime. That's our karmic debt and reincarnation piece.
Okay, a cosmic ledger sort of thing, and we're not stopping there.
No way. We're also looking at the idea of the subconscious as oracle. This notion that your subconscious isn't just, background processing, but it's this distinct, all-knowing being inside you.
An oracle, yeah.
Yeah.
That dispenses absolute truth. And sometimes sounds suspiciously the same in different people following the same teacher.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
Then we shift gears a bit into reality itself. The idea that there are countless invisible dimensions buzzing around us. Multidimensional reality.
The explanation for when you lose your keys or feel confused.
That's sort of, yeah. Or forget things. And linked to that is the belief that every single decision you make actually splits reality, creates a whole new universe where another you took the other path.
Infinite you is living out infinite choices.
Okay.
And finally, we'll touch on this concept of God as like a universal energy, the God source, often described as this great central sun that sort of exploded to create souls. Us.
Okay, that's quite a list. We've got our work cut out for us. Let's dive in. First one, psychosomatic causality.
This claim, and it is everywhere, that physical sickness, even cancer, is primarily, maybe directly, caused by your bottled up emotions, your anger, your grief.
And the flip side is, if you just clear those emotions, you'll heal. Poof.
The appeal is obvious, isn't it? It gives you a feeling of control. If I caused it with my feelings, maybe I can fix it with my feelings.
Absolutely. But here's where we start deconstructing. It's fundamentally victim blaming, just dressed up as wisdom.
How so?
Well, think about it. It basically says you got sick because you failed. You didn't manage your emotions properly. You didn't forgive someone fast enough. You weren't positive enough.
Yeah, I see that. It frames illness as a personal, almost moral failing.
Precisely. And notice what that does. It magically lets society, capitalism, environmental factors, all of that, completely off the hook.
Right, like pollution or terrible working conditions or just lack of decent health care.
Exactly. Suddenly, none of that matters as much. The entire reason for your illness gets dumped right back onto your internal state. It's not the chemical plant down the road. It's your unprocessed anger from childhood.
And this isn't exactly a new trick, historically speaking. Feels familiar.
It absolutely is. It's a modern gloss on very old control mechanisms. Think about how, historically, illness was blamed on sin or moral weakness or, divine punishment.
Or female hysteria.
Right. This just swaps out sin for negative energy or suppressed trauma. The priest becomes the wellness coach. But the underlying logic, blaming the sufferer, it's disturbingly similar.
Foucault talked about this, didn't he, in The Birth of the Clinic, how medicine could become a tool for moral judgment.
He did, and this fits perfectly. It's diagnosing a failure of the soul manifested in the body instead of looking at, reality, which includes biology, environment, social factors.
And it's dangerous. I mean, obviously emotional health matters for well-being. Nobody denies that. But saying your anger caused your tumor, that's not just unproven, it's cruel. It adds another layer of guilt onto someone already dealing with illness.
It completely misdirects focus.
Yeah.
It pushes you inward, makes you police your own thoughts instead of maybe, I don't know, demanding cleaner air or better working conditions. It's disempowering.
Compare that to something like Stoicism, which sees illness as just. Something that happens, an external event you face with resilience, not proof you failed spiritually.
A very different framing. Okay, let's shift. Let's talk about karmic debt and reincarnation.
Right. And we need to be clear, this isn't necessarily the complex idea of karma you find in, say, traditional Buddhism.
No, this is the pop version. Karma as a literal, quantifiable debt, like cosmic credit card debt you carry across lifetimes.
A cosmic debtor's prison, you called it earlier.
Yeah. And the supposed payoff is cosmic justice, eventually. Everything gets balanced. But the way it functions now, it's what I'd call moral malpractice.
How does that play out?
It justifies present suffering. Horrific things, trauma, poverty, systemic oppression, get explained away as payback for something you supposedly did in a past life.
So if something terrible happens to you, it's because you deserved it on some cosmic level. You're just settling accounts.
That's the implication. Or even that you chose it before you were born as a lesson. You hear things like, you need to forgive your abuser, otherwise you're just creating more bad karma and you'll have to come back and do it again.
Wow. That sounds incredibly useful for keeping people passive.
It's brilliant in a really cynical way. It justifies any hierarchy, any inequality. If your suffering is just your personal karmic lesson, then the people or systems causing that suffering, they're just playing their assigned roles in your spiritual growth.
So don't rock the boat, don't question power, just work on your own soul.
Exactly. It preaches total passivity in the face of real-world injustice.
It makes me think of Nietzsche. His idea of slave morality, how the powerless invent systems where their suffering becomes a virtue. This is like that, but projected onto the cosmos.
Kind of cosmic resentment, yeah. Turning powerlessness into a spiritual journey, but sacrificing agency along the way.
And it's crucial, like you said, to separate this from actual Buddhist concepts of karma, which are way more about intention, mindset, ending suffering, now not this transactional punitive accounting system.
Absolutely. This version feels very, well, capitalist almost, like David Graeber wrote about in Debt, the first 5,000 years, how the concept of debt itself has always been tangled up with morality and social control. This just makes it cosmic.
A spiritual bypass for very real problems. Okay, let's move inward, to the mind, the subconscious as oracle.
Right. So here, the idea isn't just that we have unconscious processes. It's that the subconscious is this distinct entity, almost a person inside you, all-knowing, the ultimate source of truth.
Like an inner guru. Or a god.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
And the big tell, the really fascinating part, is the claim that this oracle speaks with a single voice.
Yeah.
Using the exact same phrases, the same specific, sometimes quirky, wording across totally different people.
As long as they're all following the same teacher or system, presumably.
That's the key. That uniformity. That's not how individual minds work. It's a massive red flag.
So what is it evidence of, then, if not a universal truth?
It's evidence of suggestion. Implantation. It's a classic feature of hypnosis, charismatic leadership, even cult dynamics. The leader essentially tells people what their subconscious will say, often subtly, and then discovers it.
The leader creates the oracle they claim to be channeling.
Precisely. It validates their authority beautifully. They become the high priest, the only one who can truly interpret the infallible subconscious. It's another Foucault truth game.
Setting themselves up as the gatekeeper to your own inner wisdom.
And science, meanwhile, sees the subconscious as a model for things like biases, automatic thoughts, ingrained patterns. Useful, complex, but definitely not a single personified oracle doling out pronouncements.
It completely bypasses your own critical thinking. Okay, next level of reality bending. Multidimensional reality.
Yeah, the idea that there are countless other dimensions vibrating just out of sight. And sometimes we, slip between them.
And this explains weird coincidences. Déjà vu, forgetting why you walked into a room.
Pretty much. Any little anomaly, any confusion, any glitch in the matrix gets slotted into this explanation. Oh, you must have shifted dimensions.
The appeal here seems to be making life more magical, giving meaning to randomness.
That, and maybe a sense of expanded consciousness. But look at the logic. or the lack of it. It's a perfect example of special pleading. Meaning any evidence that could contradict the theory, like maybe you were just tired and forgot something gets twisted into proof of the theory. See, you forgot. Dimensional slip.
So it's impossible to disprove if everything is evidence for it.
Then it explains everything and therefore nothing. It's unfalsifiable, which strategically is great for the guru selling this idea, right? Any objection, any rational critique just means the critic isn't attuned enough to perceive the other dimensions.
Untouchable. Diogenes the Cynic would have had a field day with this, asking for, actual physical proof.
Exactly. And let's be clear. This totally mangles concepts from actual physics, where extra dimensions in string theory are complex mathematical ideas, not literal places you can pop into.
Or postmodernism, which talks about socially constructed realities and power, not actual magic travel.
Right. Now, within this multiverse idea, there's that specific offshoot. Every choice you make creates a new reality.
The alternate selves thing, where another you is living out the life you'd have had if you took that other job or married that other person.
Yeah, it sounds kind of cool. Maybe comforting in a weird way, but think about the effect.
What is the effect? Seems paralyzing.
It completely annihilates agency. If every single choice is made and not made simultaneously across infinite realities, then what weight does your choice here and now actually have?
None, really. It diffuses responsibility.
Totally. It's like the ultimate get-out-of-jail-free card for consequences. Nihilistic comfort, I'd call it. Perfect for avoiding tough decisions or moral accountability. It takes a philosophical thought experiment, possible worlds, and turns it into a literal escape hatch from meaning.
Okay, final concept. The God source. This pantheistic idea of God as energy, a great central sun.
Right. We're all fragments of this divine explosion, pieces of God energy.
The appeal is strong here, too. Unity, inherent divinity, universal love. If you're part of God, you're inherently good, loved, safe.
It paints a picture of a universe that's fundamentally benevolent, ordered, intelligent, a cosmic schoolhouse designed for our soul's growth. Every single thing that happens, good or bad, is a personalized lesson from this God source.
But wait, that sounds familiar. Isn't that just another way to frame suffering as necessary, as part of a plan?
Bingo. That's the ultimate deception, knitting all these ideas together. It's the oldest story. That chaos isn't real. Its suffering always has meaning. That power structures are just part of the divine curriculum.
It's a flight from the possibility of a universe that's just random, indifferent, meaningless until we create meaning.
Exactly. A flight from that terrifying, maybe beautiful truth. It offers a comforting cage built with bars of light and love in place of genuine, messy, sometimes terrifying freedom.
Let's run these through the freedom lens again quickly. Believing illness is your emotional fault.
Leads you to police yourself, blame yourself, spend money on cures that ignore reality. Less freedom, more self-surveillance.
Believing in karmic debt.
Makes you accept injustice, even abuse, as your lesson. Chains you to passivity. Total loss of freedom to resist.
Believing the subconscious is an oracle interpreted by someone else.
You give away your critical thinking. You distrust your own intuition. You become dependent. Less mental freedom.
Believing weird feelings are dimensional slips.
Destroys rational engagement with the world. Makes you reliant on gurus to explain basic reality. Freedom from critical thought, maybe, but not actual freedom.
And believing every decision spawns infinite realities.
Annihilates the weight of your choices. Destroys agency. Freedom from responsibility, perhaps, but it's the freedom of meaninglessness. Look, this collection of ideas, it's not wisdom. It's the sound of fear. The terrified babbling of a mind that can't handle the vast, silent indifference of space. It's a story told to make the dark less scary.
But the cost is truth. Agency.
Your anger. It's not automatically a tumor waiting to happen. It might be a perfectly sane response to being treated unfairly. Your confusion. Not a dimensional warp. It's probably just the normal state of being a complex creature in a complex world.
Bend your body.
It's not a scorecard for past life sins. It's an animal. A magnificent, fragile animal that gets sick, gets old, and dies. That's biology. That's life. Not a moral report card.
So the challenge to you, listening, is this. Start burning down this mental prison. Question any healer who implies your pain is your fault.
Spit in the eye of any philosophy that tells you oppression is a lesson you need to learn, or that forgiveness is mandatory regardless of accountability.
Your mind. That's the real battleground. It's the only thing they can't truly own, unless you give it to them.
Don't give it to them.
And that's our deep dive for this week.
Remember, the most dangerous illusion is the one you don't know you're in.
But now you know. So here's our question for you.
So we've torn apart the spirituality of self-help. What is the one sacred cow you've held onto that you're finally ready to put on the chopping block?
Let us know in the comments.
Question the narrative.
Deconstruct the dogma.
See the system.
We'll see you next time. Stay skeptical.
Thank you for joining us.